Good morning, everybody. So here we are back again. We are in lesson 9. After this, we only have 3 left. Y'all are gonna miss me. I'm gonna have to do another lesson after this, but good morning, everybody. Good to see you guys. And so today's lesson is called the magic word. So definitely Bob Proctor took this from Earl Nightingale, who took this from Napoleon Hill and Clement Stone. So this is a really, really important lesson for a lot of us. So I know when we think about this, so I'm gonna just tell you guys, what is the magic word? Well, the magic word is attitude. This might be like the hardest thing for people to overcome, literally, is their attitude. Now, when you're growing up, especially if you're a female, I don't know, maybe some of you boys had attitudes back then, but I know for sure us women did, like growing up, I don't know, maybe it was just me and my daughter, but we hear it all the time. It's like, oh, she has an attitude, or that person has an attitude problem, or whatever. Like we always think about it kind of in a negative term, but really attitude is a culmination really of 3 ingredients. So we're going to get into that, what that really is, what's the composite, what creates your attitude, and how can you change your attitude if you're just not feeling it. You have a bad attitude, you're bringing bad energy into your business or into your life or whatever. So like, this is happening, yet you probably feel like, how do I get out of this? Like, how do I change my attitude? So we're going to talk about that today. But before I get into our lesson, I want to share with you guys a few quotes that stood out to me. So a lot of Bob Proctor, I guess, and not before that, Napoleon Hill, like information came from Andrew Carnegie, yes, but also from this psychologist, one of the earliest psychologists in America. His name is William James. So if you've ever seen his name floating around, this guy definitely knew some stuff. And I'm going to share with you guys a couple of his quotes. He's been referenced a lot in Think and Grow Rich and also in several of these other books that followed after Think and Grow Rich. So let's talk about this real quick. So William James said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude." That's cool. You can change your life if you can change your attitude. If you can't change your attitude, you probably can't change your life. So it doesn't matter how much skill you have. Like, obviously it's good to have skill set. It's good to have some talent. It's good to have, some things working. It's good to have some know-how. But honestly, if you have all of that, but you have a really bad attitude, like no matter what, you can't win. Like it's just impossible. Like you're sending out a different energy. You have to get that energy back, whether you're smart or not, whether you have the information or not, right? Now, somebody that doesn't have the information or doesn't have the skill set, doesn't have the talent, has a much better chance of winning if they have a good attitude, good positive mental attitude. So that's what he means by that. Great discovery that all we have to do is change our attitude and we can literally change the trajectory of our whole life. The problem with attitude is that most people literally think that they have no power over it. So I'm going to teach you guys today how to get power back over your attitude so that you can change the direction of your life or continue, going down the path that you really want to go down. Another quote he said, I'm going to share a few with you today because they're just so good. You got to hear them. One of them is, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." I was thinking about this for a while, like the greatest weapon against stress. So let's say you wake up, you're running late, you stub your toe, you cut yourself in the shower, shaving, you miss the gym because you're rushed. And then, all these things are happening, stressed to the max. It's holidays. We got to wrap presents. We got to think about everybody. Because if you don't think about everybody, then you're the butthole of the family. Like all the stuff that's happening, especially in this time of month or this time of year, right? Brings stress. But what's the greatest weapon against stress? Reaching for a different thought. Now, what's interesting is most of the time when you are having a negative thought, you're not consciously aware that you're having a negative thought. It really doesn't register until it hits the feeling center, right? And once it hits the feeling, by then it's probably too late because now you've just charged up that thought where now you're in that vibration and now you're going to take that action. So I thought that quote was pretty powerful. Here's another one. "There is no more miserable human being. The most miserable human being on the planet is somebody that then one who is nothing is but habitual indecision. Well, I think I wrote that down wrong, but the most miserable human being on the planet basically is somebody that lives in habitual indecision. You find a miserable person, it's probably they're living in indecision. Like, and what do I mean by that? What I mean by indecision is they may have this long lost dream, right? They have this long lost, like what I really, really want to do with my life, but they're battling with reality, right? They're battling with reality right now. And the reality for them is that there's no way they're going to get it. There's no way they can do it. They're trapped in every corner. And so because their goal is over here, but the reality is over here, they're just miserable because they've already talked themselves out of why they can't go do what they really want to do. And so when I am coaching people, I always ask them, what do you really want? Right? What do you really, really want? Most of the time they say, I don't know. They haven't even let themselves have the ability to dream. They don't even let themselves dream anymore because they know that if they start down this dreaming path, they're going to come face to face with an obstacle. And as soon as they hit that obstacle, that hope is gone. And because that hope is gone, they're going to just live in a miserable indecision purgatory for the rest of their life, instead of just enabling themselves to believe that they can go get it. Isn't that crazy, man? I think that's just so powerful because I know I've dealt with this myself. I've dealt with this myself because, chasing after success and then feeling disenchanted almost by success, right? Thinking like, is this my ego like winning? Like, because I had this old paradigm thinking that if you're successful and rich, you're probably a villain, right? I mean, it's in every Disney movie. And in fact, we see our kids that are about to watch something, we turn it off. We're like, no, we're not going to make the entrepreneur the bad guy, like for sure, because that's a program, and so, living with indecision, should I go after my dreams or does it make me somehow a shallow human being? Do I, we fight with all these like inner paradigms within us. And then we say, well, I don't know. And then we run around and we go ask everybody, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? Nobody knows what the hell they're doing. And we're asking them what we should do. Now, if you're asking the masses what you should do, they're going to say that's not realistic. They're going to talk you straight out of your goals and your dreams. And then internally, inside, that little dream is still there, but you're ignoring it. You're suppressing it. You're trying to talk yourself out of it. But guess what? That spirit within you is always going to seek expression. It's always going to want to come out. It's always going to want to seek expression one way or the other, right? So if you're living in indecision, which is you're not taking action towards your goal, you have sort of a goal, but you're almost afraid to believe in it, right? And so you're living in indecision, you're going to be a miserable human being. The most miserable human beings are people that live with indecision. And I know what that's like. I've been there before. One thing that took me out of my indecision was reading a book called by Harvey K, called Decision Power. So anyway, that was just one quote I wanted to share. Here's another one. There's a law in psychology that if you form a picture in your mind of what you would like to be, and you keep and hold that picture there long enough, you will soon become exactly as you have been thinking. Wow. Have you guys actually read the book Imagination? What is it called? Why am I saying it wrong? Hold on. I'm gonna look at my Kindle. It's in there right now. I'm not on the title of it right now, but let me see. Imagination Creates Reality by Neville Goddard. I can only get 3 pages into this book, you guys, because it's so dense. It's so like good that I really need to like take my time and let it just sink in. Imagination creates reality. So there's a law in psychology that says if you form a picture of what you want to be, of who you want to become, and if you hold it there long enough, you will become that. That's law. Like you will become what you are thinking about. That's amazing. And that's also scary at the same time, because if you're holding a different picture in your mind unconsciously, right, because you're sucked into the 3 dimension of reality, you think this is it, then you're probably not consciously creating what you really want, right? Okay, here's another one. I posted this one on Facebook yesterday. Action seems to follow feeling. So let's talk about that for just a second. How many of you are like, I want to go to the gym, but I don't feel like it. I'm going to call 100 people, but I don't feel like it. I'm going to build my business during December, but I don't feel like it, right? We don't feel like it, so we don't do it, right? Our feeling dictates our action all the time. How do we get around that? Well, this is what this quote is talking about. Action seems to follow feeling, but really action and feeling go together. And by regulating the action, which is under the more direct control of the willpower, we can indirectly regulate the feeling, which is not. So what does that mean? If you take action when you don't feel like it, you will feel like it after. When you take action when you don't feel like it, you will feel like it after. So if I was just gone for 2 weeks because my kids were sick, then we had Thanksgiving, and it was like I was in this like mom bubble for 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, it was hard to come to work that next Monday. Like I had to just go. Like I had to just put my clothes on, not my mom pajamas like that I've been living in for like 2 weeks, where I had to do my hair, to do my makeup. I had to do it. I didn't feel like it. In fact, I was cranky with myself the whole time getting ready. I'm like, ugh, like I just want to be home now. You know, I'm in like holiday mode. No, like you just do it. You just get out there, you just do it. And you start now. You start today. You don't start tomorrow. You don't put it off. You don't talk yourself out of it. You just do it. You unwillingly don't want to, but you're going to do it anyway. And if you do that, you will feel like it. You will feel like it. Okay. So that's another thing. All right. Now, last quote, actually 2 quotes left, and then I'm going to get into this lesson and break it down. How do we alter our attitude? Because this is really what we're here today to talk about. But here's another one. Whenever you're in a conflict with someone, there is one factor that can make the difference between damaging your relationship and deepening it. That factor is attitude. Your attitude is a double-edged sword, and it either brings you the success you seek, or if it's misused, it brings you a life of disappointment. So attitude goes both ways. So now I want to share with you guys, I did this little pyramid thing earlier. I wasn't doing Illuminati. Some of you guys are going to say that. I wasn't doing that. I don't even know what that is, but imagine a pyramid for me for just a minute. Actually, I'll just draw you guys a picture. Let's just do that real quick. And I'm going to use my own little notebook. I'm not going to bring up my whiteboard. We're just going to do this old school, like we were in a classroom in the 90s. Hold on. I don't even know if they use paper now. Do they all have tablets? What's the deal? All right. Thoughts. What makes up our actions? This is what makes our attitude. Hold on. Actions. Here we go. I want you guys to write this down. If you have a piece of paper, write it down too. If you're in the car, replay this later. That's fine. Check this out. If you were to make a cake, you need eggs, you need flour, hopefully gluten-free flour. Okay, you need sugar, you need all the stuff, right? You wouldn't say, wow, you wouldn't eat a piece of cake and say, wow, that's really great sugar. Like, no, you probably wouldn't say that. You would say, this is really great cake, right? So when you look at somebody's attitude, or you look at your own attitude, this is the composite of your attitude. This is what creates your attitude. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings, and then it's your actions. So those 3 things is what create your attitude. So guess what? If you are in a bad attitude, it's because you have negative thoughts, which you have then internalized into negative feelings. You added feeling power to it. And then you have then taken action with your negative attitude. You've created that attitude. You created that vibe, right? Okay, so like one bad thing happens in your morning. That's your thought. Oh, I'm late. I'm running late, right? And then you start internalizing it. Oh my gosh, if I'm late, then what's going to happen to me? And you start imagining like, what are all the bad things that could happen because you're late, right? Okay. And then you start taking actions towards that. And your actions are literally, they happen because of your subconscious mind. Your actions happen because of your subconscious mind. Whatever has been planted in there, whatever you've internalized with your feeling and thoughts is the action you're going to take. You almost don't even have a choice. You're just going to take the action, automatically, which is why it's so important to program your subconscious mind with what you want, because if you don't, it's on default, you're just going to get what you're going to get, right? So if you got that negative thought and you then internalize it into a negative feeling, something bad happens. You have a circumstance in your life that you're witnessing right now. You internalize it. You add feeling to it. Now you're going to take actions as if those things are real. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's how you get a bad attitude. That's also how you get a good attitude, right? So attitude is the cause and your results are the effect. So if you want to have a better attitude, well, there's a few things that we have to do. For one, we have to have the awareness that we're actually have negative thoughts right now, right? And this is not easy. Like, this definitely takes some practice. Like, you're not going to get it right every single time. You're going to go down a tailspin, and then you're going to have to catch yourself, and you're going to have to redirect yourself back to a higher positive feeling, or a better, better thought, really. Okay. But it begins in your conscious mind. So your thoughts that become in your conscious mind. This starts with your choice of thoughts. Now, most people don't feel like they have a choice of thoughts. Like, they have one bad thought, and then they have another bad thought, and then they group together, and then they're like, man, this, for instance, if you're watching the news, it's very easy, like, example here, like, if you're watching the news, which the whole purpose of the news is to gather up negative stories and then project it to you so that you feel some type of way, right? And then we all get riled up and we post on social media which side we're on, right? And then, so now our emotions are activated. So now we're going to take action. So the next time we see that type of person in our reality, we're going to treat them a certain way because we've just had the thoughts, the feelings, and now we're taking action toward the people that we just witnessed on the news. Man, that's annoying programming, right? So it starts with our choice of thoughts. So don't put in thoughts into your mind that you know are going to yield you bad results. That sounds very simple. It's not as simple as it sounds, but that is literally it, right? Now, when you take your conscious mind, your conscious thoughts that you're choosing, and you may not think you're choosing them, but you have the ability to choose them, and you get emotionally involved. Now, I want to now that creates the second stage of attitude, but now that puts your body into a energetic vibration. Now you have a whole vibe about you. If you've got bad thoughts and feelings, you are in a vibe. We can all feel it. Like, it's not a secret. Energy doesn't lie. We know. Or if you're in a good vibe, right? You don't even have to meet, like, when you meet somebody for the first time. I've had people say, like, meet me, and they're like, you just have good energy. I'm like, I don't always have good energy, but thank you for meeting me on a day I have good energy. Because you're in a vibration, right? It's a whole vibe that you're creating. And then what happens after you're in that vibration? You're expressing that into your action. Express that into action. So because this pyramid is kind of like a circle, right? I mean, they're all connected. How to disrupt the pattern is to take a different action. Take a different action against what you're thinking and feeling. That's the hardest thing in the world to do, right? It really is. But if you can do that, you can change the trajectory of everything that you're creating in your life. So here's the deal. Attitude is actually it's a reflection of a person. So what's going on inside is the reflection of what you see on the outside. And people say, oh, don't judge a book by its cover. But in this situation, yeah, because the outside is a reflection of the inside. Whatever's going on inside, you're expressing it on the outside. Okay, so how to alter your attitude? Well, here's a few things that I'm going to just leave with you guys today. And I don't like to keep these super long. I just like them to be super, dense with information that you can take into the world. So here's a few things I'm going to leave with you guys today. Number one, this is from Earl Nightingale, Napoleon Hill, Clement Stone. This is their formula and things that they're suggesting to have a good, positive mental attitude, success through changing your attitude. Okay. This may be challenging for some of you, especially those of you who have teenagers. This might be a challenge for you. It's a challenge for me. But if you can do this, it will change your life. Okay. So here it is. Number one, treat every single person that you come in contact with as if they were the most important person in the world. Every person you come in contact with. I'm talking about people that don't even deserve it. Okay. They're a scumbag. Okay. But just treat everybody like they're the most important person in the world. Like, take the time, talk to them, listen, like, as if like you are meeting your celebrity, idol. I don't even know. You guys probably don't care about that, but I'm just saying, like, when I met Bob Proctor, I was like, for sure on my best behavior, like I was going to speak his language. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was the most important person in my world when I met him. So I was just very respectful and kind. I go home to my kids and I'm like, get your shoes off the couch. I'm different. Right. So like, but imagine if you treated your kids like you would have if you treated Bob Proctor, if you had met him, or whoever it is in your mind that you think is worthy of deserving this treatment. Treat everybody that way, right? Treat every single person that way. I know we talk about this in this is the golden rule: do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Here's the deal: how you present yourself to the world, how you bring yourself into the world, how you act towards the people in your world is exactly what you're getting back. There's no way around it. It's literally a law. I told my son the other day, who's almost 17, I was like, karma's real. He's like, karma's not real. I was like, okay, let me say it a different way. The law of cause and effect is real. Okay. So whatever you're dishing out, you're getting back, and there's no way around that. So if you're dishing out to everybody in your world that they are the most important person on the planet, what do you think that's going to do for you? You're going to get something out of that. So here's the deal. Here's 3 reasons why this is important. Number 1 is, as far as everybody's concerned, they are the most important person in the world. It's true. I mean, everybody on the planet wants to feel important. They want to feel needed, and they want to feel appreciated. Every single person. And women, this is not a secret. You start to fight with your husband if you don't feel important, needed, or appreciated. Hands down, every time. Like, it's like science. Okay. So if like every person needs those things. And so if you're giving that to everybody that you come in contact with, your world is going to be pure magic. That's why they call it the magic word. Okay. So that's one reason. As far as everybody's concerned, they believe that they are the most important person. And number 2, it's how we should treat other people. It's just how we should just treat people that way. Right. Even if, here it is, even if we don't feel like it, this is the action piece. This is the action piece you have to build into a habit. If you build into a habit, it won't feel like fraudulent behavior anymore. Okay. It may feel like that at first. You may be like the grumpiest Grinch at this time of year. Maybe you had a loved one pass away or around the holidays. Now you're a cranky old person, like around the holidays from now on. Right. Like for me, like for sure, my birthday is like always a trigger. I always get annoyed on my birthday. I'm working on it, y'all. But listen, if you're going out being a Grinch, like you're going to get Grinchy stuff back to you, right? So here's number 3, why this is an important thing to do. By treating everybody this way, we're creating a habit, right? We're creating an actionable habit, an actionable habit, an important habit, right? So success is all about the habits that you keep. It's all about the habits that you get, right? And that you put into place in your life. Like you wake up, you make your coffee, you move into your routine, whatever those habits are, that is going to dictate the results you're getting in your life. So you want to build this into yourself as a habit. You want to build treating people this way as a habit. And if you do that, like you're going to think that you live in a magical world, like for sure. Okay. So I want to just share a couple things here. Our attitude at the beginning of a task will bring about its successful outcome. So when you're getting ready to go crush it in December, right? And we're at the beginning of a new month. This is the last day of the month now, right? We're getting ready to set our goals, set our mind for the next month, right? So your attitude towards this month is going to determine if it's a successful outcome or if it's going to be a failure outcome. So if your mindset going into December is nobody buys, network marketing slows down, everybody's on vacation, I just can't, there's no Black Friday. Like if that's what you're thinking, that's your attitude towards your business in December, that's what you're going to get, right? So you're not going to have a successful outcome. But if your attitude is different, like let's say your attitude is, it's a fresh start for people. We're laying the groundwork. We're planting the seeds for the harvest in January and spring. Like we're just getting everybody positioned. We're getting ready to take off. We're lighting some rockets. We're building fires. Okay. We're doing all that. If that's your attitude towards that month, then that you're going to have a successful month. Your attitude at the beginning of a task determines the outcome of it. The beginning, not in the middle, not like when you see some evidence of it working, now I'm going to be happy. No, the beginning of it, your first intent is what determines what's going to happen there. Okay. Number 2, our attitudes towards others determine their attitude towards us. Period. So you've ever seen a couple fighting? Like they're just waiting for one person to say something first. like, well, I didn't talk to you because you're not talking to me. Well, it's the heat before the fire. Like you have to light the fire. If you want fire in your business, you better get ready to light it. If you are not lighting that fire, if you're not going out building the desire within you, if you're not doing that, don't expect heat. Don't expect to be warm. Don't expect to have sales. Don't expect it if you're not going to do it. Your attitude towards others, your attitude towards your business, your attitude towards the people on your team are going to determine how they work with you and how they are going to either respect or not respect you. Okay. Number 3, before you can achieve the kind of life, this is probably the most important point I want to leave you guys with. Before you can achieve the kind of life you want, I'm gonna say a little bit slower because it has to sink in this time. Okay. Before you can achieve the kind of life that you really want, you must think, act, talk, and conduct yourself in all of your affairs as the person that you wish to become. So if you think that you're going to think, act, talk, conduct yourself after you're successful, it ain't never going to happen. I don't care if you're homeless right now. I don't care if you got 15 cents in your bank account right now. That doesn't matter. All that is a snapshot of what you previously planted in your life. That's all it is. Okay, you planted that, that's your harvest. Okay, so now what are we going to do from here? You're going to wake up the next day. You're going to figure out a way to shave your beard. Okay, I'm just saying, you're going to figure out a way to clean up. Like, Josh has a beard. You guys are like, why do we have to shave? You don't have to shave. You're going to figure out a way to think, act, talk, and conduct yourself as the person you wish to become. It doesn't matter if you are that person yet in 3D. You need to be that person spiritually first. You got to identify with that person first. You have to conduct yourself as that person first. Now, in the book, Imagination Creates Reality, why I can only get 3 pages into this, right, is because it gives you instructions like the first 3 pages. And it basically says this, and I'm going to just paraphrase it for you because it's so important. It has to do with how we're going to harness our attitude for good, right? And it talks about mental rehearsal. Like, what are you imagining? Do you really let your mind wander? Do you really let yourself become the best version of yourself in your mind? Do you let yourself do that? You have to let yourself do that. When you're imagining your future, when you're imagining the things that you want in your life, if you're imagining the house you want to live in, the car you want to drive, the clothes you're going to wear, how your not just your appearance, but how you conduct yourself. For instance, you can ask yourself, like, is this something that, I don't know, choose any top leader you maybe look up to. Is this something Robert Hollis would do? I don't know. If not, maybe I don't want to do that. Is this something Candace Burt Davis would do? Well, then maybe not. Like, she always shows up. She's dressed to the T. She's always positive. She brings the energy everywhere she goes. Yeah, like, does Candace have bad days? Yeah, she does. Does Robert have bad days? Absolutely. Everybody has a bad day. Do they show up in their business with their bad days? No. Do you see them posting on Facebook and losing their mind publicly? Probably not, right? So, like, Stanisha, she shows up every single day, ready to work, ready to hustle. Is this something that Stanisha would do? Is this something that Damon would do? Is this something that, Jefferson Santos would do? Like, I'm going to ask myself, is this something Bob Proctor would do? What would Napoleon Hill do? What would Jesus do? Right? Like, if they wouldn't do those things, then why do I think I'm going to get the same results as them if I'm not going to do what they're doing? It's not happening, right? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen until you decide you're going to be that best version of you too. And don't have this scarcity mindset, right? Don't think that it's like they can do that, but there's not enough for me. I can't be that. I'm too small. I'm not big enough. I'm not known. I'm not this, that, whatever. Do you think Robert Hollis had the mindset that he was going to be who he is today without first having the thought that he could be that? Probably not. When Robert talks about his story, he's like, listen, I was just a broke mechanic that was on workman's comp. I didn't have a lot going on. I really was dyslexic, could barely read, all this stuff. Like, if he had said it to himself, like, this is what I am and this is all I can be, he would have never became the Robert Hollis that he is today, right? For me, what's my story? My quick story? Okay, divorced twice, 2 kids, 2 baby dad. I got 3 last names in my house. We can't even put a mat in front of our house with our last name. There's too many last names in our house. Like, what I'm saying is this, like, my background, who I was in the past, the diagnoses I collected along the way. If I was like, yeah, that's me, that's who I am definitely I'm bipolar the rest of my life. I'm sick, celiac disease the rest of my life. That's it. That's me now. I would have never became the Jenna Zweigel that you guys see today. Right? So, like, the homeless person that's on a park bench right now, what if they decide now in the next 3 months, 90 days, that they're going to start a business and they're going to not be homeless anymore? They're not going to do this business. They're not going to do this giving up business anymore in their life. When is the moment they're successful? They're successful on the bench if they have the vision within them that they are going to be that success story. You're successful now, right? You're successful right now if you choose to be successful now. You're not successful after the results come. The results don't come until you're successful now. Does that make sense? Okay, so how we do all that, we have to harness our attitude. We got to use it for good. It's a double-edged sword. We have free will. We can use it however we want. We have a creative flowing power that's going through into us. We get to direct it. And the deal is this: everything is both positive and negative. Everything is just what it is. We get to decide what we're looking for. If you're always looking for the negative, you're always going to find it. But if you're always looking for the good, you're going to find it too. So thank you guys for hopping on and sharing this time with me today. I will see you guys next week for lesson 10. Then we just got 2 left after that. So thank you guys for hopping on, and we'll see you on our next call.